George Washington was born in 1732 in the colony of Virginia. He came from a family of planters, people who grew crops like tobacco. Growing up on a plantation gave young George a connection to the land. He learned the importance of hard work and responsibility. George's father died when he was just 11 years old. This event had a large impact on him. He became more serious and responsible, helping his mother and siblings. Though he didn't have the opportunity for a formal college education, George was determined to learn. He taught himself surveying, which is the skill of measuring and mapping land. This skill would prove valuable throughout his life. Even as a young man, George Washington possessed a strong sense of duty and a quiet determination. These qualities would serve him well in the years to come as he navigated the challenges of leadership and the birth of a nation. At the age of 16, George Washington embarked on his career as a surveyor. He traveled throughout Virginia, carefully mapping the wilderness. This experience taught him about the vastness of the land and the challenges of the frontier. It also brought him face to face with Native American tribes, fostering in him a respect for different cultures. In 1753, Washington's life took a dramatic turn. He was commissioned as a major in the Virginia militia and tasked with delivering a message to French forces encroaching on British territory. This mission marked the beginning of his military career and his involvement in the French and Indian War. Washington's courage and leadership during the war, particularly in the perilous battle at Fort Necessity, earned him recognition and respect. Little did he know that these experiences were shaping him for an even greater role in the fight for American independence. In 1759, George Washington married Martha Dandridge Custis, a wealthy widow. With this marriage, he became a devoted stepfather to Martha's two young children, John Parke Custis and Martha Parke Custis. The Washingtons never had children of their own, but George embraced his role as a father figure with love and dedication. Together, George and Martha built a happy and fulfilling life at Mount Vernon, Washington's beloved plantation. Washington was a skilled farmer and businessman. He expanded Mount Vernon into a thriving enterprise, overseeing the work of hundreds of enslaved people. While deeply involved in the management of his estate, Washington never lost sight of the political tensions brewing between the American colonies and Great Britain. His experience as a soldier and his growing influence in Virginia society placed him at the forefront of the movement for independence. In 1775, the American Revolution began with the battles of Lexington and Concord. George Washington, with his military experience and unwavering character, was the natural choice to lead the Continental Army. He accepted the position of Commander-in-Chief with humility and a deep sense of responsibility. The Revolutionary War was a grueling and uncertain time for the fledgling nation. Washington faced numerous challenges, including shortages of men, supplies and money, yet his leadership proved instrumental in keeping the army together through defeats and hardships. From the brutal winter at Valley Forge to the decisive victory at Yorktown, Washington inspired his troops and strategized brilliantly. His unwavering belief in the cause of liberty, coupled with his tactical skills, ultimately led to American independence in 1783. Section 5, Architect of a Nation, the Constitutional Convention and the Presidency. Following the victory over Great Britain, George Washington longed to return to the peaceful life of a planter at Mount Vernon. However, his sense of duty compelled him to once again serve his nation. In 1787, he reluctantly agreed to preside over the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. His presence at the convention lent it legitimacy and helped forge compromise between the delegates. The newly formed nation needed a leader who could unite the states and establish a functioning government. In 1789, George Washington was unanimously elected as the first President of the United States. He took office with the weight of enormous expectations upon his shoulders. The success or failure of the American experiment rested in his hands. Section 6. Setting precedents the first term. George Washington approached the presidency with the same sense of purpose and commitment that he had displayed throughout his life. He understood that as the first president, his actions would set precedents for future generations. He carefully established the role of the executive branch, assembled a cabinet of trusted advisors, and worked to address the pressing issues facing the nation. During his first term, Washington focused on stabilizing the economy, establishing a national bank, and defining foreign policy. He navigated the young nation through numerous challenges, including internal divisions and international conflicts. His leadership fostered a sense of unity and purpose, laying the foundation for a strong and enduring republic. Section 7, the difficult second term, challenges and triumphs. In 1792, George Washington was unanimously elected to a second term as president. Despite his desire to retire from public life, he recognized the importance of ensuring stability during the nation's formative years. His second term, however, proved to be even more challenging than the first. Political factions emerged, threatening to divide the nation. The French Revolution ignited fierce debates about America's role in foreign conflicts. Washington faced difficult decisions, including suppressing the Whiskey Rebellion, a tax revolt in western Pennsylvania. Despite the challenges, he remained committed to his principles of neutrality, peace, and national unity. Section 8. Retirement and Reflection. Life after the presidency. After serving 2 terms as president, George Washington, weary from the burdens of leadership, declined to seek a 3rd term. In 1797, he peacefully transferred power to his successor, John Adams, setting a precedent for the peaceful transition of power in the United States. Washington retired to Mount Vernon, eager to resume his life as a planter and spend time with his family. He enjoyed the quiet pleasures of rural life, tending to his crops and corresponding with friends and admirers. Despite his retirement, Washington remained a respected figure, sought out for advice and guidance. He also continued to advocate for causes he believed in, such as the abolition of slavery. Section 9. Farewell to a Hero, Washington's Death and the Nation's Mourning. In December of 1799, George Washington contracted a severe throat infection. Despite the best efforts of his physicians, his condition deteriorated rapidly. On December 14, 1799, surrounded by loved ones, George Washington passed away at the age of 67. The news of his death sent shockwaves throughout the nation and the world. Americans mourned the loss of their revered leader, the man who had led them to independence and guided them through the early years of nationhood. Tributes poured in from across the globe, praising Washington's character, leadership, and unwavering commitment to liberty. He was laid to rest at Mount Vernon, where his tomb became a place of pilgrimage and remembrance. Section 10. An Enduring Legacy. Washington's Impact on America and the World. George Washington's legacy as the father of his country continues to inspire generations of Americans and people around the world. His contributions to the founding of the United States are immeasurable. As commander of the Continental Army, he led the fight for independence against seemingly insurmountable odds. As president, he established the foundations of a strong and enduring republic. His example of selfless service, integrity, and unwavering commitment to principle has left an enduring mark on American democracy. Washington's legacy extends far beyond the borders of the United States. His leadership inspired revolutions and movements for independence across the globe. His vision of a nation founded on liberty, justice, and self-government continues to serve as a beacon of hope and a model for democratic aspirations worldwide.